Hey Sparks and Sparklers, hope you're doing well. So as you know, I am Empress Sparkle. I am a witch, clairvoyant, Hellenic pagan, as well as a fat paranormal investigator. Today I have William with me from Veteran Witch Investigations. So another paranormal, but he's also into all of it. And if you didn't check it out, do check out my podcast that I did with William on demons on my other channel, which is Spiritual Guidance. William, would you like to introduce yourself, please, lovely?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm William. I do paranormal investigations. Obviously, I'm doing a podcast with Empress Sparkle today. So, I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it.
Yeah. So obviously I've got so many questions actually from the last one, but also I don't know why I realized I hadn't asked you on the last one, so I feel like I need to ask you, what was your scariest one that you've ever dealt with? I know I never asked you on the other one, but I need to ask you. Even investigation, like it doesn't have to be demons or anything, even just investigation.
I guess the absolute scariest one actually wasn't a ghost, but a actually a mental health case. It was pretty interesting. Lady swore that she had something in her house, and I'm like, ma'am, I don't think there's anything in your house. Please go consult some professionals. Let's get all of our ducks in a row before we do something. And she just kept messaging me, messaging me. Finally, I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do this week. I'll go down and take a look. And like the lady went from like completely chill to just on a dime. And like, she just
Oh,
started speaking different languages and crap, and I'm like, "What is happening right now?" And then I see all the bottles on the counter of all the psych meds, and I go, "Oh, this is not good." That was
no.
that was definitely the scariest one, and everybody's like, "Why is that scary?" Because I didn't know what she was gonna do next.
Yeah, see, at least when we go into a paranormal investigation or we go into someone that is sort of like possessed or something, we know what's going to happen next. But I will agree, the mental health ones are a bit more, they're like, are you going to
Yeah,
do this? Are you going to do that? Where's the knives? Are they hidden?
yeah, you just don't know what they're gonna do. So I always tell everybody the mental health cases that when you tell them, hey, there's nothing going on here, they get mad at you and decide they want to talk. That's when it turns scary, usually.
Yeah,
That's
because
usually the scarier ones.
they don't want to believe it, do they? They
No,
don't want to
no, they
believe it's
don't.
them.
Um,
Hey,
or
Shawnee.
or when somebody always pulls up with a haunted doll. That's when I'm just like, yo, come on. Hate the haunted dolls, man. Hate the
I
haunted dolls, man. Hate them. Like don't know, I've collected a few of them over the years, but like, the haunted dolls just freak me out. I don't know why, but they are the one things that just make me go, "No, no."
See, for me, I love dolls. So I collected China dolls when I was little, and my daughter now has that collection. She's obsessed with them as well. So we actually collect them in this house, and everyone's like petrified of them. And I'm like, they're not haunted. It's not like we're collecting haunted ones that are going to move around the house. It's, yeah.
I wish I had the video of it still, but it was a porcelain doll, and I remember every time we walked by it, it would look like it was moving. It just looked like it was moving, and I was like, "Okay, like, its eyes are following me." So I'm thinking, like, Mona Lisa effect. I'm not thinking anything of it. But we have our camera up, and I'm walking in front of the camera, and you literally see the eyes doll the doll's eyes literally just freaking change. Like, you just see him
Oh.
move, and I went, "Okay, that's 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 not what I was looking forward to today." But okay, I guess, so we can confirm you have a haunting, and it's because of that.
Yeah. See,
He
we
goes, "You wanna
have
take it with you?" "No. No, I don't."
It always makes me laugh when they think we want to take everything with us. It's like, no.
"No."
Hubby said the other day, it was like, do we have to get a dedicated area to haunted things like the Warrens? And I was like, no, no, it's fine. We're just gonna leave
Yeah,
it with
absolutely. We'll build
them.
we'll build we'll build a shed out in the yard, they can stay out there.
That's actually what he said. He says, we've got a shed, they can live there. And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. These whatever's attached to them can still move.
Exactly, exactly. I remember we had one when we were kids. And I remember this doll, and literally, my mum brought it for me, and I absolutely loved it. And my sisters one day kept saying, "It's moving, it's moving." I was going, "No, it's not. It's absolutely fine. The negative energy in the house is something else. Stop being silly." And I was doing all that to them, and then they put it in a drawer. And this doll was one of them, the old school really stiff dolls, so it shouldn't be able to move.
Yeah,
It
it was
was
made
one
out
of
of like
them.
buckwheat husk or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of them. So it's one of them with just sort of like super glued the head on. So literally, we opened the drawer and the doll's head had moved to the side like that. And I was a bit like, okay, maybe you girls are onto something. So I took it to my nana's house. It started moving in my nana's house, and my nana was like, "I want that doll out of my house now." Should I want it gone?
I don't know why people honestly look to get haunted dolls. I know there are people that collect them, and I'm just like, yo, man, like I don't know, dude.
Why? I don't get why people would want to collect them. Why would people want to collect like all that negative energy into one place?
I mean,
I
I guess if I mean, I guess if you hate somebody, you want to go bury it on their property, that could be fun, but
don't give me
don't get ideas.
ideas.
Don't get ideas.
You saw that straight away then, William, didn't
Yeah, I saw
you?
ideas. Like, don't get ideas because that's how I end up with. Actually, I'm saying that's how I end up with more business. Feel free.
Ooh.
Um,
Oh, both of us do.
that's why I don't keep them because one day I know I would feel petty and go do it. So that's why reason two I don't have any.
Maybe we should advise 50 Cent
Maybe, maybe,
if he's
maybe.
paying us at the minute. Guess mum's hard lows. Oh, I really couldn't do. That's why surely what's up with your neighbour then, That's why she's a moody ass. Collecting all them dolls. Oh, I
Fair
couldn't
enough.
do it.
That is
Oh,
fair.
I
That is fair.
just, oh.
So I gotta ask, what is the weirdest thing that's actually happened to you on a paranormal investigation? Like, darn, I've had some really weird things happen. I actually still got things to this day I still can't explain. But
So the weirdest thing is actually quite sad for me. The worst, actually, no, that's the worst thing. So the weirdest thing was, and I will admit this, is this lady kept telling me she's got telekinesis. Me being me,
okay.
I go in and I was a bit like, "Are you sure you've got telekinesis?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think of something and tell it to move and it moves." Well, I walk in and it wasn't her. There was this big black shadow. And every time she told it to move something, it moved it. And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "You're not got tech." And it was quite a heartbreaking thing. Hey, Adrian.
That
Because
can sound like a whole bunch of different things.
oh, it ended up one of my hardest cases because there was about 7 different dark shadows in the house.
Uh,
Um, so she had about 7. 2 of them were, she was that negative that 2 of them were herself. I know that sounds a bit nuts, but 2 of them were her. She'd managed to make 2 men of her. And then the others were people either from her past, or the main one that she was actually getting things to move with was, it was centuries old. It was really, really old. And it was quite hard to get rid of that one because it also attached to her children. So that one was actually quite hard. But I think it's the weirdest because I've never had someone come to me and say to me, "By the way, I know this sounds weird, but I've got telekinesis. Can you come and actually verify it for me that I'm thinking what I'm thinking?" And you walk in and it's not telekinesis, it's a ghost. Well, a dark entity doing
yeah,
it for her was a bit.
I run into those things quite a bit. I mean, honestly, I, usually whenever somebody says, "Hey, I've got paranormal activity in my house," my first thought is, "All right, where do your kids sleep?" That's my first thought. Where do your kids sleep? Because that's
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it seems like it always starts in the kids' room. That always seems to be a starting point. Or if that's not the starting point, it's the first place it goes. And we understand kids are always, always attract something. That's just the way it is. We don't understand why. We just know what they
Yeah.
do. People say, well, it's because their energy, they're more sensitive. Personally, I say it's because they're not as guarded as we are.
That is the main problem. So it's like my girls, everyone's like, oh, have your girls have had any attachments, etc., etc. And I'm like, no, never. Apart from when my eldest daughter was younger. And that is when I spoke to a more experienced witch and I was like, look, my daughter's got an attachment. How do I deal with this? And she was like, are you not protecting your kids? And that's when I learned I've got to teach my children how to protect themselves, bring their white light up, tell them they don't want it round them. And then also I realized that actually when I was doing my protection spells, I was doing them just for me. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that I
that'd be
could
all
actually do them.
inclusive.
Yeah. So for me, I was thinking because they're a branch of me, they're protected. And she was like, no, they've got their own energy, you idiot. What do you think? They need to have their own part of that spell.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta do everything, and that kinda goes right back into the demonology. I know we've talked about maybe doing that again in the future, so I'm trying not to bring it too much far back into that, but I find even with paranormal investigations, the way spirits work, it all does go back into the demonology. So if I always tell everybody, learn your paranormal, but also touch on your demonology for the simple fact of you're gonna learn so much about it. You're gonna
Yes.
learn little things. I mean, even, like, from when we talked, you're like, "I didn't know that. Holy" "That's cool. Oh, so that makes sense now." And I
But
tell everybody,
then
all your spiritual studies are gonna interloop. They always
this
will.
this is the thing, because even when I was speaking to you, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like I was saying I didn't believe in demons, but now I'm like, actually, if it's someone's belief, of course they're real. If it's someone's belief, so if I'm going into someone's house and they're strict Catholic or something, 9 times out of 10 Catholics ring their priest first, and it's usually the priest ringing us to go in. And you're like, oh, actually, that makes sense. And I think this is one of the important things when we're actually doing stuff, we're learning with everything. Like even chatting now, we're learning. You know, my I think I'll explain my worst case, so you can sort of hear how it still brings up a bit of energy. um, my worst case, it's weird just speaking about children, is one of the children in the house was being assaulted, is the way I'm going to word it. And basically, the week I put the cameras in, nothing happened. This child, nothing happened in the house, nothing paranormal. So I literally went to the mum. I went, look, there's nothing paranormal in your house. I'm so sorry, but I've caught nothing on cameras, so I don't know what's going on. Well, basically, the day I took the cameras out of the house, it happened again. And this time she actually sent me a video of it, and I was like, this is really weird. What the heck is going on? So I went back to the house, and at that point, the person was there. And I said to her, I says, can I speak to your daughter on her own? And she went, no, no, no. I says, you've got a choice. I either speak to your daughter now on their own, or I go straight to the police. And she went, what? And that was my worst case. That was my really worst case, because I was like, sorry, I get really antsy about
You're
it.
good, you're good, you're good, I get it. I mean, when we end up in situations where, people might claim, paranormal, and we might, fortunately, it's never happened to me, but, there's plenty of investigators out there have gone out there, and I mean, sometimes we go there for a ghost and we uncover a crime.
Yeah.
Um, and then we're
Heck
trying to
yeah.
get as far away from that as possible, and that's the, unfortunate reality of it. I wish there was a prettier reality, but there never will be. So I can understand
It's
where a
yeah.
case where, you went there for a ghost and you find a crime, would be very just, you'd be very confused by it.
It's confusing because obviously this little girl was using telekinesis, opening up a part of her when she was thing, and when I spoke to her, she said it was like she was going out of body. Is the way she explained it to me. So I literally realised then she was trying to get mum's attention. So I realised then what was happening. And it's really it's hard when we go out there and we have to, like you said about mental health, we have to figure out, is this mental health, is it actually a um haunting, is it an attachment, is it, there's so many possibilities when we go out to a house. um my husband always comes with me and people think I'm nuts because they're like, don't you go on your own? I'm like, no, I don't know what I'm walking into sometimes. I always meet them though outside the house first. I will admit that I always do a meeting outside the house first. I think that experience actually taught me to meet them outside a house first. Does that make sense? Because it's sort of, it can be very hard.
Well, the other thing that we got to realize is paranormal investigator safety, and I can't stress on the safety enough. I can't stress on it, and that's the problem with this field is there in the UK, there's licensing for it. There's colleges dedicated to it. Trust me, I know I'm in
Yeah,
America. I've looked over at the UK. You guys have actual companies that do it. I mean, it's a very big field over there. In America, there is no school dedicated to it. It's all very much learn on your own, read the books, read the case studies. There's some websites you can get on, but there's no actual diplomas or degrees. It's just, you get a certificate saying, "Hey, I took a class. Yay, whoop-de-doo." And the biggest thing I've took millions of classes. I've done all this, I've done my research, I've done my homework, I've done my schooling, I've done my book work, I've done my field experiences. I believe I could actually teach a lot of this now, honestly, and I actually want
yeah,
to one day. But the one thing we don't stress on is the mental toll, the physical toll, and the safety that we need to be exhibiting when we're in the field. Because we could be in danger from the client. We don't, again, we're going and meeting somebody out talking to them for, maybe a couple weeks. We don't know
yeah,
this person personally. We just know that there's a problem, and we're praying to God that, we're not walking into a blood cult. Granted, that's very,
yeah.
hypothetical, but
But
the other
you
thing
never
is
know.
people what people understand is sometimes people will do their investigation during the day, but nighttime is our real danger. And everybody goes, "Oh, because the ghost is there?" No, the ghost was there before we showed up. The danger was already there for the ghost.
Yeah,
But think about it. We're bumbling around in the dark. We can't see half time. Half time we're looking through an LCD screen praying that we're not about to walk down some stairs, and people go into abandoned buildings and they'll fall downstairs, break their neck, or they'll get seriously hurt, and they may not get found for days or weeks. And sure enough, somebody
yeah.
else looking for the same little sighting that they were for will go there and find a dead body. So
This
hunting
is a
alone is just a dumb idea in general.
Well,
Don't
this
go
is a
alone.
thing. Yeah, I completely agree with that because there was that YouTuber, weren't there? Paranormal YouTuber. He went missing and they found his body 3 years later. This is way before COVID, guys. Found his body 3 years later, but he was doing goat paranormal hunting in abandoned buildings, as you say. So it's like it. Abandoned buildings are the worst. I personally won't do them. I have to admit that I personally won't do them because you've got so many dangers from disease. So, like Wells disease from rats, you've got um, rabies. Like if a rabid fox wanted to attack you, it could. And I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but it happens. I'm from the
Well,
countryside. It happens.
they are highly unlikely. What in the world is my dog doing? Okay, never mind. I thought my dog was in here. I felt something brushing on my leg, and I was like, "What the world?" Turns out it was just a cord. Thank goodness. But
Oh,
um, yes, a lot of people don't take safety as a immediate priority. I don't know why they don't, but it needs to become a number one priority.
It really
I tell everybody
does.
this is dangerous. I mean, we watch Zach Bagans on TV. We watch YouTubers every day of the week go and do this thing, and it looks fun. It's scary. It's spooky. I get it, but there are a lot of hidden dangers, and that's why I tell everybody if you're going somewhere, tell them where you're going to be at, what time you're going to be back. Have a working cell phone. Don't be using it to fake evidence. I mean, have it for a reason.
Yeah,
And everybody goes, oh, well, turn it off or put it on silent. No, have that thing on ring.
yeah.
Because if you're hurt and they come to find you, that might be the only thing that helps you be located. Also, wear
This,
something reflective.
yes.
I mean, you can go, I mean, yeah, everybody looks at my patches and everything, but these are reflective. I mean, in the night, if I'm laying down or something, yeah, it's black, and they're going to see white patches, and they're going to go, oh, we found him. He's easier to find.
Exactly. This is a thing because a lot of them I watched are in dark stuff so they don't get caught, etc. Another thing, actually, make sure you people know you're on there. So whoever owns it, make sure they know you're on there, because especially here in the UK, I don't mean it rudely, but the only people that are licensed are farmers, and they're allowed to give you a warning. Warning, bang is the way I'm going to word it.
Sure.
So if they do that and they can't see you because they can hear you, and they accidentally, bang you, that sounds wrong actually, because bang means also something else in the UK.
Hey, I guess that's better than the alternative.
I guess.
Either way, it's a criminal offense.
Exactly. Um, but this is the thing.
Talk
This
about
is
walking
what.
home with a limp. Um,
It
sorry,
definitely.
sorry. It was there. I had to take it. I had to take it.
Well, at least you can say you experienced the entity in real life.
It ain't haunted. It was just Farmer Fred.
Oh, bloody hell, this has took a wrong turn. Oh, oh, why did I use that term? I thought I'd be able to get away with it, but no,
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 no, not.
that
It's the 2020s. You ain't getting away with nothing.
you don't now, do you? Oh, everything's caught.
I mean, without somebody getting banned here on YouTube, I would say they give you a firm warning from across the field.
Yes, that is a nice. I like. Well, we use that term instead.
Long
Um,
distance warning.
and this is one of the things that worries me when I watch them, and I just sit there going, "What are you lot doing?" And then I watch them go up the stairs, like these stairs that haven't been used for years and years and years and years. And I'm like, how do you know you're just not going to fall through to some iron stakes which are at the bottom?
Huh, okay. We just had a
You're,
storm roll through here. We had a storm roll through here.
okay, okay.
The electricity's still a little. Eh.
See, I love that straight to debunk. I love that because that's what I'm like. I walk in and I'm like, they're like, oh, I can smell burning. And I'm like, you may have a neighbour that's got a bonfire going on.
Well, that was like last night. I was watching WWE. Yes, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm that nerd. And I heard, "Whoa!" And I was like, what the world? Like this real creepy, like Dracula laugh. And I'm like, what the? I thought my first thought was, okay, somebody's outside. So, I open my window to see, who's playing around the apartment complex. There's nobody out there. And I'm looking at my friend that was with me, and I go, "Is my downstairs neighbor home?" He's like, "No, he's home. He's on a 2-week vacation." I'm like, "Okay." So I just heard a disembodied laugh, and I'm not okay with that, especially my own home. That sounds like it's coming from the floor. So I rewind it back to the spot where I heard it. Turns out it was actually coming from the TV, but it was just the way the sound waves were. So that's another thing that we got to keep in mind is it takes, simple mistakes like that.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
why I
this
tell
is what.
everybody, if something paranormal does happen, stop. See if you can figure out what it was first.
Well, this is a thing that I've got obsessed at the minute with sound frequencies. Absolutely obsessed. And I love this because William will know what I'm talking about as a veteran. So I've got obsessed about learning about infrared sounds at the minute. So, like
Hmm.
sonic booms and stuff like that, and
Oh,
how they
okay.
can affect. Like, I just thought I'm wording it totally wrong because obviously you guys will know it as sonic booms from when the jets take off, isn't
Yeah, I mean, if I hear a sonic boom, I'm gonna be like, "Am I near a military base?" Yeah, that's my
it?
first thought. But
Well, the thing that I've learned is sonic booms can be felt but not heard up to 50 miles away. And a lady, I was looking up someone else's case, and they was turned around and says to me, "We can't figure out why at these certain times cups are vibrating and coming off the sides." So I was literally researching around her and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, she's got a base 30 miles to 40 miles away." And they were like, "Yeah, well, the sonic booms, we've looked at that. There's no way." And I was like, "Actually, I've got obsessed with it thanks to this case." And I went, "Let me research into sonic booms." And I started researching and found out infrared sound can actually reach up to 150 miles away. So I was like, right, we now need to figure out when they're taking off at the base. And she was like, right, okay, what I'm going to do, bless her heart. So she actually sent her husband to sit outside the base and watch these planes. I was like, just make sure he does not get bloody caught. Because here in the UK you're allowed to do that, but I don't believe where she is in America you're allowed to do it.
you
And
can sit outside the base and watch. I mean, if you're as long as you're not going into restricted areas, nobody really cares too much.
oh, that's good then.
But it
That's
also
good.
depends on what base you're near. I mean, Area 51, past a certain red pole, you might get a long distance final warning. Um,
Oh, I
but
didn't know
again,
that.
Area 51 is one of those big secret, top secret bases that don't exist, but everybody knows about.
Yeah, they are. It's it's a bit like RAF Alconbury here in the UK. It is seen as just an RAF site, but they don't realise there's actually a lot more going on there than what they realise, if that makes sense.
I don't care. I hunt ghosts. I don't care what they're doing with the aliens.
No. So yeah, anyway, so as I say, lovely. So basically he sat there and they were at our house and he messaged as one went off. 20 minutes later the cup fell off. And
That would do it, yeah.
I went, there you go, there's your sonic boom. And she just literally went, what the? And I just went, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes there's just a natural cause to it that we can't hear. We can feel it in us, but we can't hear it. We can't see it, we can't smell it, but sometimes there's just a natural reason for it.
Yeah,
If
it
that
it's what we call a scientific reason. And everybody goes, "Well, what's the difference between paranormal and scientific?" Well, scientific, I can reach it, I can smell it, I can touch it, I can taste it, I can measure it. Paranormal, you
Yeah,
can't. If I could explain it with science, it wouldn't be, called paranormal.
exactly. This is it. We're getting there slowly with science, and we are getting there slowly with it. It's just I don't think there's enough research into it, to be honest. I don't.
I
There
think that honestly, our science and our technology has gotten better to explain what we once thought was paranormal, but never was to begin with. But at the time, we didn't understand that. For example, I mean, take all the ancient cultures, ancient Egypt, for example. They had gods, they had all this other stuff, and everybody goes, "Well, that's just primitive." I'm like, "Well, yes and no." But that's how they explained the natural phenomena around them, like the
Yeah.
season changes, this, that, and the other. We have way better technology now, but we still have religion because that is one of our most primal and most basic instinct and needs.
I personally feel that's our soul telling us that there is something else. higher than us. Sadly, the majority of people, I could get onto this, and I know it's going to take us totally off paranormal. So I'm like, should I actually say that? Majority of people take religion the wrong way, and the Bible's changed the way it should be seen. And I
Well,
think we're
the way I look at it is, blame the Bible, blame society, blame who you want. It don't really matter because at the end of the day, somebody's right and somebody's wrong.
yes.
Or maybe we're all right, or maybe we're all just playing the same game because let's face it, deep down, we're all just a little bit nuts.
Oh, I like that. I'm definitely nuts. I'm definitely insane.
I
But then
mean,
saying
being
that,
cute is just,
the doctors told me because I know I'm insane means I'm not insane. How does that work out?
well, it's like this. They say that the crazy people don't know they're crazy.
That is true. That's what they say.
Again, I'm not a mental health doctor. PhD is not behind my name, so
No. Um, if you have any questions, guys, just because we're halfway through, I've realised me and William have been chatting nuttily. So if you have any questions, do just pop them down below. So
yeah,
one of
guys.
the
And if
things
anything else, we can do a part two.
we definitely will do, definitely will do. I need to ask you this then, talking about the science, is there any tools that you use when you're doing paranormal investigations?
Oh, all the time. Absolutely all the time. The very first tool I always go in with is an EMF meter. That is the very first tool I go in with. I don't go in there with a K2. I go in there with an EMF meter. Actually, hold on. I think I got it nearby. Actually, I need to look. Yes, actually, I do. Hold on. It's called the ghost meter. I laugh about it because they go, oh, it detects ghosts. I'm like, no, this simply just does EMF. I'll try to hold it up. You see, there's a word here says milligauss, which is basically how you read electricity. So I mean, if I hold up to my mic here, we're clearly a reading here in a second. Yep. So that's the first thing I want to go in with because if you're in a house with bad wiring and it's at critical levels, you're gonna walk in and this thing's gonna light up like a Christmas tree. So if I walk into a room and it immediately starts lighting up, everybody goes, "Yep, you found the ghost." I go, "Nope, you probably found a faulty wiring problem." So if it buries it down to the needle, the very first thing I'm gonna say is, okay, I don't think we have a ghost. I think we got a wiring problem. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. And if you actually look into EMF fields can actually cause you to hallucinate and become extremely sick, and it'll affect your mental illness and it'll affect your mental health. And everybody says, well, how does that work? Okay, well, let's think about what our body runs on electrolytes. Our body does contain electricity.
Yeah,
Our body does. So if we have EMF fields causing up our brain waves, interfering with just our daily lives and how our bodies function, yeah, we're going to see things that aren't there. It's natural. Has science caught up to it
totally.
yet? Not necessarily, but there's a reason why we're going to get sick. So if I'm walking around your house and this thing's just buried all the way, first thing I'm going to do is tell you, go get an electrician. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you to go do. I'm not going to say you don't have a haunting, but I'm not going to come back and continue an investigation until I know this has been corrected. Because I've seen people go shut their electricity off where there's no electricity in the house and they say the haunting stopped. I go, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You need an electrician. You don't need me. You need an electrician.
Oh, I
Um,
love that because it is so true. How many people don't realize? I am keeping an eye on your questions, guys. That is one of the things that people don't actually realize. So it's a bit like the way I can explain it, what William's explaining, is if you've got an autistic in the family and they go into a shopping center and it's got all them bright lights and they're like, I can hear that. I can hear that. And they can actually hear the electricity. So one of the best things is actually taking my daughter into one of them as well as an EMF meter because she'll be like, Mum, I can hear that. I can hear that. And she can actually hear where the fault is, and it drives her nuts. See, and this is the thing, they can even for autistics, they can hear and feel it, and it does do them bad, if that makes sense.
Oh,
So I
they
love that.
absolutely can hear that. I mean, I know there's days and people say you can't hear that. I'm like, go sit in a room with absolutely no noise and turn a light on. You'll hear it. You will hear it, and it'll drive you absolutely freaking insane. It always will. Take a Halloween decoration and that has a strobe light and just hold it up to your ear. You can hear it. You can. So that's when people are like,
Yeah,
oh, I can hear the electricity around me. Yeah, I bet you can. I mean, go stand next to a substation. You'll hear the buzz all day long. So
exactly.
yes,
This is
can
a
you
thing.
hear the light wave? Can you hear the electricity traveling? Yes, that is 100% possible.
Exactly. And this is the thing. And when you think about it, and some of the stuff they're saying they're hearing, like knocking, sometimes electric clicks. So when you think
Yep.
about that, that could possibly be clicking, that could sound like something going, because that click's then echoing in the wall. So it
Hmm.
can sound like that. And oh, William, I love the fact you've brought that up, because I think that is a really important one. Pop Shawnee's. I know the spookiest, the one that felt scarier. I'll let you go first, William.
Oh wow. Like actual ghost scary or like or you want to
I
know about
think
the mental health here?
I think she wants to know the one that felt scarier, like as in ghost one.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be a rather short story. It's not nothing too impressive, but this is where I bring up the pareidolia effect. And I tell everybody, keep in mind that pictures do carry pareidolia. And I'm pretty sure my two friends were just screwing with me. I'm positive that none of what they told me was in any way true. But there's this church just way out in the middle of the country. Like, oh yeah, a bunch of orphans were locked in and they burned it down. It was a big genocide. And I'm not gonna lie, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking they're nuts. They're just trying to get me going. Which, again, guys, I do this for a living. You're not gonna get me going. It's not working. So I'm in the back of the truck, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm back there drinking my monster. Okay, I'm halfway asleep. It's like 2 in the freaking morning, and I show up to this church, and I step out, and immediately I can. It just don't feel right from the second I get out of the truck. I'm like, all right, this don't feel right. And they're like, well, go up there. I'm like, well, first off, there's cameras all over that church. I'm not trying to deal with the police tonight. I'm not gonna go up to it, but I'll just snap a few pictures. Say I was out here. We'll all go home. We'll have a good laugh, and you know, maybe I'll return the favor and screw with them a little bit. Well, as we're in the truck and I'm scrolling through the pictures of what I took, it looked like somebody had spray painted faces and stick figures all over this church's outer walls. And I'm like, well, that don't make sense because when we had the video of it, you can see that those weren't there. One looked like a double, and then like the longer you looked at it, the more the outlines became very apparent. And I wish I had that picture still to this day. It was on an old laptop I had that caught fire, so I can't reclaim it, unfortunately. But to this day, I still don't know, and I can't explain that one. And to this day, it still scares me. And people are like, "Oh, it's pareidolia. You can't. It's whatever." But the more filters I added to the picture to make things highlight and pop more, the more you could see. And then eventually, you actually started seeing figures in the windows. And that was without a
Oh,
doubt. I mean, on the way home, we weren't scared. We didn't even care. But I'm not gonna lie. After I got home and I saw that, I kind of went, I don't ever think I ever want to go back there again.
oh my goodness.
For
See
that
this?
much dark energy to be trapped in a light space like that, I don't want to go back there ever.
No, I personally, wow. I think as well, I think I would have said it's pareidolia if you didn't explain the place like you explained. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I would have
that's what
said,
I
yes,
thought
it's
it was at
definitely.
first. I thought it was pareidolia at first, but then I asked my girlfriend at the time, I said, honey, come here. What do you see? She goes, I see a devil skull right there. I mean, exact same spot. She saw the exact same thing I did.
Oh, that is
Saw the exact same thing I
crazy.
did. So I took it to a buddy of mine who doesn't believe in that. I go, hey, dog, you see anything cool with this picture? And he goes, why is there spray paint all over it? And I went, okay, multiple people are seeing the same things without me having to point anything to them. That tells right there it's not pareidolia.
No, because if it's pareidolia, it's usually only you can see it and you're sort of seeing it and I find this a lot with stuff that they share on Facebook. You'll see one person put something and then the rest are following line because that's where they're now looking at. But usually then you'll get one or two out of it and they're actually seeing something else. And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's not even where the spirit is. What are you talking about? And I sit there looking at it, and then I finally find an actual clairvoyant, and I'm like, yay, I can see that too. And
Yeah,
it's
so
like, it doesn't actually look like a face or anything sometimes. So it's crazy that you can all. I love that. I love
yeah,
that
but the
because that
fact it
just.
just looked like spray paint drawings to this day, I can't explain it. I've never ran into it again. I've asked other investigators, I've asked other clairvoyants, and they've just told me we don't have an answer for you. So I
See,
can say
I
that is
don't
the absolute one investigation I have that I don't think I will ever solve.
know. I'm literally sat here and I can. I know it sounds weird and I hope you don't mind. I can pull the picture of the image. I can see the church, I can see it all, and I see a lady in the window. So there's a lady in the window, is what I see, and she's actually feels horrible energy. Can I just say that she is horrible? I don't see it as children though, so I think that was a myth that they've told you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure they were just trying to get a rise out of me. I don't know, but I mean, you got to admit, at 2 o'clock in the morning when everybody's awake and nobody's, there's nothing open because we're out in the middle of the country, people get up to dumb things. And I figured, okay, they thought it'd be a good day to just kind of screw with me a little bit. So be what it
Yeah,
be.
I get
I
that.
do see this lady asked about orbs here.
Yes.
Um, I honestly don't know what my view on orbs is. It's so hard to tell the difference between dust particles and bugs sometimes. I don't always discount them because I have seen things that were orbs that made sense, and I've seen things that haven't made sense.
Yeah. Well, this is actually, it's funny you say that. So, my 30 years drive video that I've put up, and I put up loads of orbs because everyone wanted to see the orbs and stuff. And I said, look, I've got like 20 hours of orbs. I says, I'm not gonna lie, I've got about 20 hours. I says, I'll pick out the best ones. But I'm trying to work it out because where the orb is not where I see the spirit. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. So I'm trying to figure orbs out myself at the moment because I believed in them, but since I've been to 30 East Drive, I'm now like, they don't make sense. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but they just, I
They're
don't
hard to
know.
explain. We don't know. The biggest orb sighting that I've had somebody show me. Granted, this is not something I captured. I had a buddy of mine show it to me. You can see this hallway, and it's got like a staircase right here, so you can tell it's clearly up a staircase, which is always a hot spot for usually residual hauntings more than anything. But you just see this big light come in, and I mean, it lights up the whole room, like it lights up the wall and everything, and then it goes to the stairs, stops, and then just disappears, and the room just goes dark again. And I'm like, that's the most compelling orb I've
Mm,
ever seen that I can definitely say was paranormal. I
yeah.
mean, I've got some orb videos. There's only one other orb video I have. I believe I actually still have it on this computer. I'll have to share that sometime. But it looks like a chalk line just goes whoop 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 into the guy's stomach and then is gone. And I mean, it looked like somebody just took a chalk line on the film and just drew it. It wasn't transparent, it wasn't translucent, it was solid.
Oh, wow.
And that was one of those ones I just was like, "What?" It
See,
was one of the craziest ones I ever had.
yeah, because to me, that's the ones I love. So for me, when I was doing the videos, the ones that I could sit there and say were definitely was the black ones. And that's what I kept saying to everyone. The ones with the black trails, I can definitely say a spirit. I can see the spirit walking with it. I've got a black mist as well, about that big, on the wall that goes through to next door. I'm like, that is definitely a spirit. But some of the others, I'm like, they don't add up, because it's just not where I'm seeing the spirits. I'm like, it, I don't know, they're frustrating me at the minute. Can you tell?
Yeah,
Trying to
absolutely.
working them out. I think that's the trouble with paranormal. We get frustrated because we can't prove anything. We can't say 100%. Even me as a clairvoyant, I can't sit here and say them orbs 110%. Like, only a few of them. Sorry, my daughter's just walked in. What's that?
Have I got any actual evidence? I mean, this is what I see. This is the hard part. You good?
Yeah, my daughter's just decided to walk in. Sorry,
Oh,
lovely.
no, you're good. I'll answer this question. So again, like I tell everybody,
Thank you.
is there evidence to prove the paranormal? Well, if there was evidence to prove that it was existed, it wouldn't be paranormal. So, I mean, again, keeping that in mind, do I believe I have evidence that proves that there are spirits out there? Yes, I really think I do. One of them was actually an EVP that scared the living heck out of me. I'm not gonna lie, it was a hiss that I actually got a recording of.
Oh, that's
I was
actually
down in
made
the
me.
base I was down in the basement and I didn't hear it, but it was on the recording. You know, I had my EVP in hand and I said, "Is there anybody here?" Of course, I don't hear anything, but on the playback, you hear me clearly say, "Is there anybody here?" And you hear, "Hey!" And it was like, "What the?" Like it was so clear. The people on the other side of the room goes, "Did that thing just say me?" I'm like, "So you
Wow.
all heard it too?"
See, and they're the EVPs that are important, because some of them, I don't mean this rudely, when I'm watching these YouTubers, I'm like, that did not just say that at all. That is just pareidolia. You can, you know, sometimes it is, but when it's clear and you say multiple people are saying it, I'm like, whoa, that is crazy, because they are, let's be honest, EVPs are rarer than what people think.
Correct. And a lot of times there are some EVPs that actually kind of scared me. There was a couple hisses that I had somebody send me years and years ago, and he goes, "Hey man, what do you think of these?" And I go, "It just sounds like a hiss, man. I don't tell you." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. Get on your program and slow it down." And I slowed it down, and you could start to piece together what it was saying. So enhancing volume and everything doesn't always work. Sometimes it just makes it more cloudy. But always go ahead and do that step, because honestly, sometimes you'll hear things that you didn't catch because it's going so fast. But when you slow it down, that's when you'll catch some stuff. So yes, I do have some evidence of it. I'm not gonna lie, that EVP still I still think about it to this day, and it's been about 3.5 years.
Wow.
That was one of the I, I guess you'd call it a class A EVP, because honestly, you don't need anything to hear it. You don't. I didn't have to slow it down. I didn't have to enhance it. It was on my little handheld recorder, and people from the other side of the room could clearly hear what it said.
See, that's rare. That is just so rare. I love that, because I don't know how to explain how rare that is. Like, that is crazy, because, and I love what you've explained about the speeding up and slowing down and stuff like that, because they are in another dimension, sort of, in some ways to us. So their time's going different. So I absolutely love that. Sorry, I've got quite excited about talking about EVPs. I do
No,
like a good
absolutely. I mean, heck,
EVP.
if you want to do a series on ghost hunting with me on different tools, I mean, heck, oh, here we go. If I
Yeah.
could
No,
investigate
you're fine.
anywhere,
I
where would
just
it be
popped
in
it
the
up
world?
early.
I absolutely love actually doing investigations in America. I mean, I wish I could move to the UK and get paid, the American equivalent of $50,000 a year to do it. I wish I could. I really wish I could, but in America, it's so taboo anymore. Like like if you tell somebody you're a paranormal investigator, you'll get one of two things. Oh my God, that is cool that you do that. Or you'll get the other guy that goes, so what medicine's he on?
Yeah.
That's the only two things, So I love it doing it here in America because it's just so, there's so few people that do it, honestly, the media has brought so much attention to it. I almost have to laugh because there's kids that go out and do it now, and sometimes just watching kids go, "Oh my God, I heard something." I'm like, "No, what you heard was static. You heard
Yeah.
static. Calm down." I absolutely laugh when kids go out with Ouija boards. That's one of my favorite things to watch. I'm not gonna lie. And everybody's like, "Oh, they're gonna get
That's
demonically hypnotized." I'm like, "No, they're not." But let's be honest with you, they're gonna scare themselves and they're gonna run off in 10 minutes. Okay, they're just gonna go scare themselves.
I think my problem is with the Ouija board, and I hold my hands up here, and the reason why I don't like kids messing with it is because you always get that one that takes it too far and go and do it on their own. And then you get people like us coming, William, that has to deattach whatever's come through the board.
Yes,
But
but honestly, half for most of the times I've seen kids go do it, usually the first thing that goes bump, whether it be an animal or just a little mouse in the corner, they tuck tail and run. So honestly, 90% of the time it ends up being harmless.
that is so true. That
So
is so
honestly,
true.
I that's why when I see kids with Ouija boards on Halloween, I just go, okay, so you guys are gonna go to bed early tonight. I see how this is gonna go.
And it is true because it's rare to get an attachment. I think for me, it's just sort of like, I don't know, I am very against Ouija boards, I will admit that. Evening,
I mean,
Paul.
I got one up on the
Um,
wall, so
so I'll hold my hands up. I've got a spirit board, so I call it a spirit board, but I use a pendulum for it instead. And I'm the only one that can touch it, so it's sort of like like my tarot cards, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Um,
I got the pendulum mat, but I actually have like a legit Ouija board up there, and I love this thing. I keep it in the sunlight at all times because it charges the paint and it's glow in the dark.
oh, that's
So
cool.
so at night, if I need to use it in a really dark area, I can, and I absolutely love it for that.
Oh, that I like that. That is pretty cool, actually. I will admit that. um, for me, Shawnee, as I've always said, it would be Transylvania. It would be for me Transylvania. Um, Transylvania's castle, so it'd be Dracula's castle. I don't know why I'm pulled there. I don't even know why. Um, but I just feel like it's somewhere where I'd love to go. That sounds so weird, don't it? Like so random as well. So William's like, why would you want to go there?
No, absolutely. If you want to go there, go there. If somebody's looking for a specific location, it's shut down now, and I really wish I could go back in there one more time. Would be the Apple Blossom House Hotel. It's not a hotel; it's just an abandoned building. Some dude dressed up to be a hotel. I paid $40 just to be there for 12 hours, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I got more just weird evidence out of there than any other place I've ever gone. So I can say without a doubt that that place is without a doubt haunted. We actually had to stop the investigation 2 hours into it because all of our batteries just drained for no
Oh
reason.
wow. See, that's when you know when stuff like batteries draining. We had that at 30 East Drive. The battery drained, and then we turned it back on 10 minutes later. It was like, what the heck? So yeah, no. Oh, see that freaked me out a little bit. I will admit that I'm a bit.
That wasn't the part that
Ooh,
scared me. That wasn't the part that scared me.
oh, was it not?
No, that was actually the one where the porcelain doll had its eyes following me, and I was actually doing some investigation with it. And the guy downstairs watching the camera called me and goes, "Did somebody just give somebody the finger?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm coming down to HQ. Let me see what you're talking about. And you actually see my shadow where I lean down to actually do EMF with this meter actually on the doll. And while I'm still bent over, you actually see my shadow somehow stand back up. Keep in mind, I'm still punched over the doll. Walk away, turn, give me the finger, then go straight back into the hunched over. And I'm like, okay, there was three other people with me. That had to have been somebody else's shadow. It had to have been, but everybody else was sitting down.
Were you pissed off with yourself?
I'm guessing something was.
Wow, I've not heard of that one. Wow, that is
Yeah,
crazy.
that was the first time I've ever seen a shadow detach from someone, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What the world?"
That is, yeah, that one's a bit of
That was
that's
weird.
a different one for me.
Honestly, I think the dude was just screwing with me, and he probably did some AI on it, if we want to be honest. But I mean, I can't prove that he didn't. I can't prove he didn't.
No, I get it. Don't forget the tree. I love my tea strainer. It's not my fault, okay? So, William, I will explain this. Basically, I can control pendulums.
Okay.
And I brought a new tea strainer a couple of weeks ago. Um, and it was quite funny because I was sort of showing my husband and stuff, and I picked it up and I was showing him, and it started swinging in circles like a pendulum would. So I was like, what the hell? I said, it's acting like a pendulum. So he goes past it here, sort of like going, oh, let me do some magic with it. He was going to mess around with it. And it went completely straight. And I went, what? And he just went, no, this isn't okay. I've got a video of it. I'll have to send it to you, William. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And he was like, this can't be right. So we called down my daughter, who's also like me. She held it and it just stays still. There is shaking, her natural shaking, but it stays still. And I'm literally like, this is not okay. Why is it going for me like a pendulum? And then while we were on live, I was showing everyone, I was like, look, I can get it to say yes, I can get it to say no, I can get it to swing as fast as I want. So yeah, I'm a bit of a weirdo.
You know, my dowsing rods are actually kind of the same way.
Oh, really?
They are. I can actually tell them to cross, and they will. They're really cool. I
Oh,
love my dowsing rods. I actually bought them just off well, good God, Amazon. English is my first language, but it's also my last language, if you can't tell. Um, but yeah, they're really cool. I mean, I have them. I mean, I bought them for like $20 back in like 2018, and they've just been with me ever since. I know they're real copper because they're turning green and stuff now, so I know they're real copper. You can get a little
it's
scratcher and reshine them.
so the way I've had it explained is that we're that controlling our energy. So our own energy field, we're that in control that certain things that we can actually then manipulate around us. So it's like a telekinesis, but not a telekinesis because we have to be touching it. Does that make
Correct.
sense?
Anyway,
Um, but yeah, it's I'm a weirdo. So that's what I tell everyone. I just go, I'm a weirdo. I can touch stuff and make it magically start moving. Mm. And people just look
absolutely.
at
I
me like,
mean, I don't really focus on that own practices. I actually like to use a lot of technology, but that's just because that's kind of what we've turned into. However, like I tell everybody, your biggest ghost hunting tool that you're going to have is the human body.
yeah.
It's the oldest instrument on Earth. Don't ignore it.
Oh, yes. I think that is actually one of the biggest keys. If I walk into somewhere or anything like that, I take note of that because this is one of the things that this is actually another example of sound that we cannot hear, but we can feel the vibration of. Um, I walked into a place and literally underneath my skin, I could feel this negativity, but I was like, there's no spirit here. So I'm literally looking around and stuff. And it turned out just to be a fan. It was a fan that was making a very, very low noise. This is why I'm after a machine that can detect under 20 hertz. So then I can actually say whether there's that low noise there. Um, because we couldn't hear it, but yet it could affect our body. That noise could affect our bodies. And it was like, I was just like, just don't use the fan anymore. He'll be fine. And they just looked at me and went, but we can't do that. And I went, well, get someone in to fix it then. I can't remember. I think it was just an extractor fan or something, but I remember it being a fan because I remember stood there with the wire pulling it on and off, showing them that when it's off, it doesn't make us feel that way, and when it's on, it does.
Yeah, somebody asked a question about is there any equipment I don't believe? Hey, you're already on top of it. Is there any equipment I don't believe in? Yeah, a cell phone. I'm sorry, some people are gonna hate me for this. Some people are gonna love me for this. Either way, these cell phone apps that we download and people go ghost hunting with, I don't know why. Because honestly, you can't, can't, you can't.
Can't
I don't know
trust.
how you can trust them. I don't.
No, most of them are run by AI. We use them for entertainment in our YouTube videos, and that is it. I always say my YouTube investigation is an entertainment, it's not actually what's going on. Um, because people like to also think they're feeling and seeing what we're seeing at the time, is the way I'm going to word it. Um, but they've got an AI bank word thing. Me and Amp was testing one the other day and it made sense. We had someone doing this is going to sound awful, but I feel like this is the sort of thing you'll do, William. We had someone doing a paranormal investigation on YouTube on the TV, and we had it going on the side, and it was answering the questions.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
was like, "There's no spirits in my home, so who's answering that?"
yeah. I know there was an app. And no, it was a fun app to play around with. Like I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it was fun. Sometimes it's just fun to play with. But this app, it don't make sense to me. That's like a lot of people like to down talk the spirit boxes, because they scan radio frequencies. I'm going, yeah, I can understand maybe where it might pick up a few frequencies now and then. You might, catch like a snippet of a song. But the thing is you need to go through and check each station where you're standing to figure out what you are picking up and not picking up.
Yeah.
And if anything else, get a Faraday pouch. It'll stop that.
Oh, I've not heard of a Faraday pouch. What is that?
Yeah, it's like a little pouch and it like blocks radio frequencies. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, so is it a bit like the ones that block phone signals?
Yes, it's a Faraday pouch.
Oh, I'll have to have a look into that because I like that sort of thing. Because, so the reason I don't like spirit boxes is because they're so, it's not really the noise, but it's where it stops at every station. It's that noise that does my head in. Absolutely does my
Really?
nut in. That dot, 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 dot in the background where you can hear it stopping at every station. Um, I the white noise is how I hear spirits anyway. So that is actually what I always have going in my ear, and that's how they talk to me.
Well,
So for
what I
me,
like to do when I'm using a spirit box is I never put it on the FM frequency ever. Never put on FM
oh,
because AM frequencies aren't used that commonly anymore. They're just not commonly used. I mean, if you go get an AM radio and you just go through the stations, you might get maybe one station, maybe one.
that is very true.
So if I'm getting one word responses off of an AM frequency, okay. If I'm getting one word responses, okay, I'm not gonna count that as a evidence. Now, if I'm getting full sentences or 3 to 4 words and they make sense to maybe what I'm saying and it sounds like an intelligent response, now we have something.
Yes. See, now I like that because, as well, what we need to think about is walkie talkies that are around us. So it's not just radio stations, but people on walkie talkies, and they always use FM. So they are always on FM. So the fact of, oh, I'd never ever thought about that. Never thought about using AM. Why did I never think of that?
Yeah, I mean, mine has AM and FM frequency capability, but I always put it on AM. I don't I rarely move it off of AM.
That's actually a really good point. I'm literally sat here going, wow, that is something that people actually need to know, because I think that'll help a lot of paranormal investigators that think they're catching stuff but they're not. Um, I like that. I do have a question, William, then,
All right.
because you seem quite gadgety, whereas I'm not. So one of the things that I've been concerned about recently is because I paid to go to my YouTube ones that I advertise, I actually paid to go to them. Because obviously we don't YouTube, we film and everything are private ones, but we don't advertise them, if that makes sense. So one of the things I would like to ask you, is there stuff that they can do to make their house seem haunted? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. There's stuff people can do all the time. I mean, I mean, heck. Look how many videos are faked. But I mean, really, people can honestly dress their house up. I know there's been a couple places I went where people had like a bunch of spooky decorations going, "Look, my house is haunted." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not going to deny that maybe you have a haunting here. Maybe you do, but you're trying to dress the atmosphere up to already put me in that state of mind, which is already inducing pareidolia. It's already making the imagination run wild. So
Yeah.
now any evidence that I'm going to come to you and go, "Hey, I think I got something here." I got to make sure it's not pareidolia because of where I'm at.
Yes.
So if you go into somebody's house or a supposed haunted location and they've dressed it up to look spooky, I'm telling you now, they're already trying to induce something in your brain to make it sound that way or to make it be that way. So
That's
if you want to go in there and
interesting.
have fun, make it an entertainment, I mean, sure, go ahead. Ain't no harm. But if you go in their house and it looks like just a normal, modern, lived-in place, chances are they're not trying to make it seem haunted. That anything you find there will be very credible.
See, this is one of the things that I found when we went to East Drive. Everyone says, oh, it's fake, etc. We found quite a lot there, if I'm honest. Um, and one of the things I found was I went round with my K2. So I hold my hands up, I have a K2. And I went round with my K2 and I was like checking everything. And I found one spot where I can literally sit here and say it's faulty wiring. And that was next to the bathroom. So I was like, right, that's definitely faulty wiring. That definitely is. But the thing that I was questioning about, I was like, can I know it sounds weird, but and I don't know why, and I know they haven't there, but I was watching someone else's video at 30 East Drive, and the EMF, their K2 meter was doing something weird. And I don't know why, but I really wanted to scream that there was some sort of machine under the bed giving off electric magnetic field that was causing it to go off. Does that make sense?
It does
But
make
I'm
sense,
just,
and I'll tell you why. Because there was an investigation I did, and it turns out this was a legitimate haunting. But I cannot explain to this day why this did what it did. The EMF meter did not go off once in the house. No spikes. Even when I got near the microwave, it would not go off, and I'm like, okay, that don't make any sense. But when I went
oh,
outside, buried the needle. I'm like, okay, weird. So I went back in the house and I finally found a spot where it spiked, and it was in the shower. Only place the needle would bury
okay.
is in the shower. And I says, "Is there any electric appliances attached to this wall? Like, is there a circuit here?" They're like, "No, that's just where our hot water heater pipe runs." I go, "That don't make any sense."
No.
I guess maybe I caught Casper in the middle of a shower. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's why he wasn't happy.
That is a weird one though.
That was very weird, and I just said, "Well, okay."
But actually, also, it makes sense. So, I'm going to say something really weird here. Water is a natural conductor. So, with its friction, it could give off like an EMF. Um, with its flowing, if it's flowing and stuff, it could give off like a conducting sort of aura. I don't know why I've used the
Well,
word
yeah,
aura.
but the shower wasn't on.
Oh, okay.
The shower's off. I'm not sticking my head in there and getting my head wet. I'm sure they're lovely people, but I really don't want to take a shower with them.
That is weird.
That was weird. But I mean, honestly, like I tell everybody, start with your EMF, not your K2. Get an actual EMF meter. Don't go in there with a K2. Um, if once you figured out where your electrical hotspots are, if you want to go in there with K2 after, okay, because now you can kind of tell you know, whether it's interference or not. If anything
Yeah.
else, like you're going to be there overnight, I say just shut all the circuit breakers off.
Oh, I like that one because we sat in the dark anyway. So we could just shut. Oh no, because they have CCTV going to the house, so we might not be able to do that. To keep an
I
eye on
mean, you
what
could always get
people
a
do.
generator and set it up outside too.
That is true. Oh, I like
Or
that.
I think they make power banks for it now. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, they make so much now. I've just realised the time. I'm so chatting about all this. I've realised the time. No wonder they're all coming down, bless them. Um, William, I will definitely get you back on, lovely. I honestly, I thoroughly enjoy our chats. We need you back on the other one as well, don't we? Because there's so much more we could have gone into with that. I've watched it back the other day and I was like, we really need to get this said. We really need to get that said. So I definitely need to do one for the spiritual as well.
Yeah,
Definitely
we'll have to
do.
sit and we'll just have to sit and plan a series. I have no problem doing that.
Brilliant. Yeah, that'd be good, lovely. We definitely need to do that because there's just so much. And like Shawnee's got loads of questions. She's a nightmare anyway. She always has loads of questions. She's always messaging me going, I've heard feet running. What could that be? Or she's always messaging. Like she loves the paranormal. She's so inquisitive about it, and I love it because a year ago, before she met me, she hated the paranormal and didn't believe, and now she's like a full believer. So I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
you
I'll
go
have
on
to get
then.
her interested in some classes or something sometime. So I mean, I guess just let her know and she'll get you in touch with me and we'll go from there.
Yeah, definitely lovely. So, thank you guys for watching. I've seen a lot go in and out, so I'm hoping you're all here while we're talking away and saying goodbye. Obviously, William's details. I need to put your details in the description, lovely. So if you could resend me your website and stuff so I can pop it in and that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll have to do that probably within the next couple days because I do got a couple things I got to go do the next couple days. So, but we can do
you're a
that.
very busy
If
man.
if not, we will plan another deal and I'll make sure to have those ahead of time.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, William. Thank you guys so much. And don't forget, guys, to keep sparkling.